to Teaching Through COVID. Again, today is day 21, believe it or not, with students. It is Tuesday, our second day of the week with our Cohort A students. The way our schedule works out is, again, just a reminder, our A students, our Cohort A, they're always here Monday and Tuesday. Our Cohort B students are always here Thursday and Friday. And then we just alternate who is here on Wednesdays. So this week it just works out. Our Cohort A is here Monday through Thursday. It's a weird week because there's no school on Friday. And so then sadly we only get to see our B cohort kids one day, and that is on Thursday. That did create some challenges this week on planning and laying out, I guess, the steps that the kids in the B cohort need to do in order to make Thursday as useful as possible. Make it as efficient as we possibly can in class, answer any questions we may have, retouch on any subject or idea that they may have gone over these 3 days without me, making sure I clear any misconceptions, but also then moving forward and looking at other things that we need to prepare for doing next week. So Thursday will be extremely interesting to see how it goes with my B cohort because bless their souls, being at home Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, coming to school on Thursday just for one day, then to go back home and be at home Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So Thursday may be a challenge just because of that. But it'll be okay. We'll figure it all out just like we have everything else so far. Today, though, another great day, nothing new. We just continued on with some work that we've been doing. My 7th graders, we wrapped up on discussing and reviewing our 2 at-home experiments that they should have been doing since the beginning of the year, introducing variables, the scientific method, all of that good stuff. So today we went over it. I let the kids make any corrections that they needed to on theirs, get it submitted, hopefully maybe for the first time. We'll see. So again, we got to do that. We reviewed everything that we did on it, make sure, again, we addressed any questions that we may have had. That then left us time at the end. I did a new, demonstration this year with everything and the guidelines from the CDC and everything to protect us and mediate the spread of COVID. So we tried something new. Personally, it was just because I wanted to, and I wanted to go outside. So the demonstration that we tried today was each student got 2 pieces of paper, the exact same size, just your 8.5 by 11.5, whatever the measurement is of your normal printer paper. The first one, they followed my steps, and we all folded and created the exact same paper airplane. The second paper airplane, or the second sheet of paper, the students got to create and fold however they wanted. Okay, so we again were introducing the control group, experimental groups, variables, dependent and independent variable, and some constants. Okay, so we talked about it. We made the connections from the ball toss lab, the reaction time lab, to the demonstration here. I was blown away by how well this concept has now begun to stick after we've been able to have conversations together in class. They jumped on and knew right away, for the most part, that the control group was going to be the first airplane that we created as a class because everybody had the exact same make and the exact same model. Then the experimental group is then their second airplane that they then changed the fold and design to. Okay, that's the experimental group that also then ends up being our independent variable because we changed the body of our airplane. Okay, so we have the control group. Everybody's similar, the same airplanes. The experimental group, that's our own personal airplanes that we then made. We talked about the dependent variable. I had the students guess what they figured the dependent variable was going to be, and they were able to, again, connect the dots really well. Okay, they inferenced and they figured out if we had one airplane that looks like this, another airplane looks like this, what are we going to measure? Well, we must be measuring how far these 2 planes fly to figure out if if the independent variable actually causes the paper airplane to fly further or not. So really short and really sweet, but again, just kind of reinforces, again, those variables, those vocab words that we've been introducing. Again, just an excuse, a reason to go outside, get some fresh air. Kids liked it. Again, it was no more than maybe 7 or 8 minutes, but they enjoyed it quite a bit. So we'll see what we can do in the future with going outside, just because. Okay, there's nothing wrong with it. Eighth graders, we wrapped up some of our notes today. Again, we're doing our weather and climate unit, so discussing what that is, what causes weather, what is indeed climate, and the difference between the two. So we wrapped up some notes. I introduced a wind formation worksheet. Talks about, again, what causes wind, why we have some severe wind and maybe some not so severe windy days. And I also introduced a mini weather research project. Students will just pick some sort of weather phenomena, tornado, hurricane, cyclone, you get the idea. They pick one. They have about 8 things that they need to make sure they include in their research. What is it? How does it form? Where does it form? Where is it most common? Tools that scientists use to predict, track, and then kind of measure whatever phenomena they choose. So they kind of got started on that today. Tomorrow we'll have more of a work day because, again, just because of the scheduling, I don't have anything new that I want them to get started on this week. We obviously can always do new things, but progression-wise, tomorrow is a good day to have as a work day. So that's what we did in class. Nothing too crazy. I think the demonstration with the airplanes went well. Again, the students seemed to understand the difference between the experimental group and the control group. They understood that we were measuring the dependent variable, so we were measuring how far the paper planes were flying. The independent variable was the change that we made. So the change, we made different airplanes, and the different airplanes together were the experimental group. So that went really well. 8th graders did a fantastic job this afternoon, as they have been all year long. I hope that their kind of ambition and their, attitude stays the same moving forward. Being the big guys in the building, sometimes they, I think, lose track of where they're going, but that just naturally happens at this age anyways. We test our boundaries, we try to figure out who we are, and so that definitely starts a lot more with our 8th graders. So that'll be fun to experience and see happen throughout the year. But that's really my school day. Here at the end of the day, we do have a coaches meeting because next week we do have basketball, boys basketball and girls swimming starting in our junior highs. So we're meeting tonight with coaches to kind of figure out logistics and practice schedules and all of that good stuff. Because for the junior high levels, if the student is not at school for that cohort day, so if they're a cohort B student, they're not going to practice on like Monday and Tuesdays. Those days will be cohort A practice days. And then, like normal, depending on the Wednesday, you either will or won't have practice. It just depends on if your cohort is there or not. The schedule for games is cohort A teams will play on Tuesdays, and then the cohort B teams will play on Thursdays. So again, we're going to figure out logistically how that's all going to work and how that's all going to go. I'll add that little bit on here at the end. So that's really, again, guys, all I had from today. No major takeaways, just everybody's finally getting in the groove of things, getting in the swing of it. Things are going well. No complaints. So again, I hope everybody's doing well. Hope you're all taking care of yourselves. Please, guys, don't forget to wash your mask. Well, yeah, don't forget to wash your mask, but I meant to say don't forget to wash your hands and wear your mask, drink your water, and be nice to your friends. I will drop in and share my thoughts from our coaches meeting at the end, so if you'd like to stick around, that's coming up next. Good night, guys. Alright, so I just finished up our coaches meeting. I'm on my way home. I did mention that I'd kind of come back, recap what occurred in the meeting, so that is what I'm here doing. Nothing new, I should say, excuse me, from what I've kind of been sharing with you guys already. Just kind of reiterating the fact, catching up on all of the bases, going over all of the protocols for cleaning, bathroom use, water breaks, all of that good stuff, all of which are important, especially if we want to try to finish the season and continue on to have other sports seasons as well. Like I said, we're in cohort A, cohort B groups, so the kids are split up into those two cohorts. They practice on the days that they are physically in the building. Another new thing that was added, I thought just hybrid students were going to be given the opportunity. I thought that was a little silly, but I wasn't sure how this was going to be handled. But online students also if they choose to, if online students choose to be in sports, then they can sign up and participate as well, and then they will just be assigned to whatever cohort they would be a part of if they were in the hybrid model style learning. So that's kind of interesting. That should help with our numbers, because our numbers right now are rather low. Like in cohort A, we got maybe 15 kids right now. Cohort B, maybe around 16 kids. So not too many, especially having 4 coaches that are required to be at every practice. There's not a lot of kids there. One thing that I did bring up, though, I mean, with those numbers, that will allow us to maybe do, hopefully, and we should do this, a lot of skill work. We have 4 coaches. We have about 6 hoops in our gym. So we could get about a coach at each hoop doing a different drill, working on a specific goal, or just skill in general, dribbling, boxing out, shooting, different rebounding techniques, different defensive techniques, things like that, which will be nice. It'll be more kind of camp style practice than it will be more what we're used to. So that'll be an interesting change. It'll be interesting to see kind of how that affects the guys and the teams moving forward. Ultimately, I don't have an issue with that. I think that should be, I mean, it could be utilized really well. Set these 8th graders up to kind of get a feel for possibly what high school basketball could be like, because myself and one of the varsity coaches, we help and coach the 8th graders, so we'll be able to kind of intensify practice a little bit due to our numbers as well. So that will be fun. Other things, just generic things. Coaches, we have to wear a mask all the time, no matter what. Players have to wear their mask unless they are participating in the game. So on the bench, they have to keep their mask on. At practice, we'll keep their mask on as much as possible. But it was kind of said, depending on the drill and what we're doing, the students or the players may have an option to take their mask off. It depends, again, if the student has asthma, then we'll clearly let them take the mask off so that doesn't restrict their breathing anymore. But as we all know, trying to do any physical activity with that mask on, it does create some sort of resistance. Again, if we're doing strenuous activities, if we're playing in the game, then we'll give the boys an option to take their mask off. They by all means can leave it on. We'll never force them to take it off, but that's up to them. Water breaks, it kind of stinks, but everybody's got to bring their own water bottle. We have water bottle fill-up stations in the building. Those are just the water fountains that have the spigot. That's the motion sensor kind of water bottle fill-up. So we'll be able to use those. I'll be trying to find some cheap water bottles to kind of keep for kids that maybe don't have one. I'll talk to my FCS teacher to see if I can't just wash them in her dishwasher as well. And then we'll go from there and just see what happens. That will be quite the change, quite the adjustment. We've been asked to sanitize the basketballs before and after practice, so we'll do that, and then we should be good to go. Each player is only limited to 1 ticket, which will be in the form of a wristband that somebody will have to wear to come watch the game. They can't have like mom and dad, grandma and grandpa, and all brothers and sisters come. So that is a little disappointing. That will be kind of a challenge for some families. But ultimately, players only get 1 ticket per game, so it doesn't have to be the same person for every game. It can change from game to game. But yeah, like I said, I really think I've hit on all the points in my previous kind of videos. Nothing new per se of what's been discussed already, but we'll see kind of how this goes, how it is handled once the season truly starts. Parent meeting is on Thursday night. Practice for 8th graders starts Monday morning, bright and early at 7 o'clock. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens. So sorry guys, I thought I was going to be able to sum that up a lot quicker than I was. There's just, I repeat myself quite a bit. But once again guys, thanks again, coming along, hanging out, listening to kind of my experiences and everything going on with teaching and coaching through COVID. It's definitely new for everybody, so if you have any tips, any tricks, any words of advice, encouragement, whatever the case may be, please feel free, drop them down in the comments, whatever the case may be. Don't forget, if you feel like it, hit that like and subscribe button. You guys have been great. Again, guys, be nice to your friends, wear your mask, drink your water, and we'll get through all of this together. So take care.